Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our final segment here on Thursday's CN Live. I'm Bill Whittle sitting in for Colleen Noir. I'll be back next week. I'm Bill Whittle from BillWhittle.com. And we're talking with our great friend Frank Winn from First Freedom Magazine. Hey, Frank, before we get into that, during the break, we heard from Wayne LaPierre saying that we put Hillary Clinton's political career to rest, and so we should join up. She's running for mayor, folks. There's some serious talk about her running for mayor of New York City. We're not kidding about these memberships. This is like, it's like a bad movie where the monster just keeps coming back. You know, you think you've got the thing down, and next thing you know, it's jumping out of the closet. So please, we certainly could use your membership, and certainly know we can do an awful lot of good with it. Anyway, Frank, we want to talk a little bit more about this incredible Springfield Armory Saint that you've got there, and we'll talk about some optics in a minute. But you said there were a lot about this rifle that you like. Why don't you tell us what you didn't like first, and then we'll go to what you thought was terrific about it.
Well, the one thing that I would argue is going to be a little problematic for some people, if you want to put a standard optic, for instance, a scope. Here we've got a nice Burris, for instance, that would be a great addition, the Burris MTAC 1.5 to 6 power. You're going to have to do something about the front sight post because that optic will not look through it as advantageously as our red dot does. But it's a small failing, and of course that's something that's easy and inexpensive to replace.
And you could visit your local gun shop for that, or gunsmith rather. And but Frank, what do you like about it? Yeah, what do you like about it?
There are several things. First of all, one of the classic bugaboos, and I'll see if I can make it show up here. If you look down, well, it's tough, but right in here is a tension adjustment that governs the solidity of the contact between the upper and the lower, and it's a long time complaint of shooters of this rifle that they may not have a good upper-lower fit. Well, because that tensioning screw is in there and it's adjusted at the factory, you're going to get somewhere between a very good to excellent fit between the upper and lower of this rifle. That makes it last a long time. It also makes it more accurate at distance. As a general rule, people overstate the effect that has on actual accuracy, but it's reassuring to not have the rifle rattle.
Out here in California, before they got the bullet button in there and I got my own AR-15, I spent a fair amount of time on a range with a Bushmaster AR-15 that had the magazine bottom welded shut. You literally had to break the rifle open and pivot it in order to reload it. Then you had to close it up again, stick the pin back in, and so on. And that rifle, having been through this thousands of times, was doing this. It was just, you could just feel it. You're basically saying this pretty much eliminates almost all of that, right?
Well, it helps. And what you were seeing on that rifle, the rifle was not designed to be opened that frequently.
Of course
not.
And
you have a steel pin right here that is pivoting into aluminum receptacles. Of course, that harder steel. Exactly right. You're going to introduce wobble in the rifle.
And you like the price quite a bit on the Saint.
Well, it gets to my favorite thing about the rifle, and that is when you open, by the way, the nice case that this rifle comes in. When you open up the case, this rifle is ready. This rifle is ready for fun at the range, and like we always say, we hope you never have to use it that way, but if you had to defend yourself, you could certainly do it with this rifle. As I said, very forgiving with ammunition types, very forgiving with magazine types. So it's ready to go.
It's a beautiful rifle, and it's got a nice hefty feel to it. It looks like it's got some substance. I think you mentioned you were a pretty big fan of the price as well. Is that right?
That's right. The street price of this rifle is going to be just over $800. And
that's
for all the features that it has, all the stuff that it's ready to do right out of the box, again, a good trigger, not a match grade trigger, but for new shooters especially, you don't want to give a new shooter a 4-pound trigger in a rifle like this. You want them to learn how to control the rifle safely and well with a safe defensive trigger. Now you've got a couple of videos there. I think if you roll the first one, remember, totally stock rifle. This is not a competition rifle with a special spring and weight back here and a different bolt carrier in here and a different muzzle treatment on the end. This is a totally standard rifle. So if you run that.
We're looking at it now. Bing.
Oh, that's the long distance one. That's the long distance one. The point there is that we're making 200-yard hits with a non-magnifying optic.
It's
That is a
amazing.
nice testimony to the inherent accuracy of the rifle. We're
That's
also
a nice
using,
sound, isn't it? That
oh,
ding,
it's a
you know,
great
ding.
sound,
Yeah, great sound.
great sound.
Speaking of
And
optics, let's go. But we don't have a whole lot of time left. But no,
that's
it's
fine.
terrific looking. Let's talk about some red dot sights and optics. You know, when you look at the if you look at soldiers, U.S. soldiers, even deployed as recently as the Iraq invasion, you see pretty much everybody has got iron sights. And nowadays, you look at our guys out there, and I haven't seen any soldiers out there with an M4 that didn't have some kind of optics on it. So it's a real revolution, isn't it? Both the red dot and some magnification.
The crucial thing that we were already starting to learn as far back as World War II is that the long-range rifle duel, the days of those are gone. The idea behind adopting this cartridge was to give our soldiers in the field more rounds per unit that they had to carry. And what that means is very, very fast engagements, not long-distance accuracy engagements where you have a heavier bullet, a heavier rifle. Mm-hmm. But if you need to go in a hurry, the red dot is very difficult to improve on. It makes acquisition of the target much, much quicker. And of course, this has dozens of sporting applications too. You shouldn't. Now, between the red dot that you see there and this type of sight, this is a Spitfire from Vortex. This is what we call a prismatic sight. What this sight does, and there are lots of variations from many manufacturers on these, what this does is use prisms to fold the magnification to a shorter and lighter length. Yeah. Really, really nice optic here. You've got some stuff on the reticles if you want to pop those up, but you don't, that's up to you. Another great optic from Burris. We talked about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. This is 1.5 to 6 power. This will get you very nearly to the limit of what the cartridge is meaningfully capable of. A lot of people shoot 5.56 or 2.23 at longer distances, but much over 400 yards, you're asking the cartridge to do something it really wasn't designed to do. If you really want to reach out, very difficult to do any better than, and that Burris, by the way, is what we call second focal plane, which is the typical reticle. Although that one has a fancier reticle, but the reticle doesn't change size when you adjust magnification.
Oh, that's useful.
That's second focal plane is what we call that, and that's the way most optics are. But if you really want the latest, greatest, here's a Vortex. This is 2.5 to 10 power, and this is what we call first focal plane. The reason for first focal plane, it was designed mainly for long-range shooters that wanted their math calculations to stay the same. Mm-hmm. No matter what their distance was, they wanted their dopes to be consistent so that they didn't have to recalculate leads and holdovers. Well, first focal plane does that. What it sacrifices is it's more complex. It's going to cost you more money. And also you get what's called some obscuration of the target. Because as you raise magnification, the reticle moves closer to you and covers up more of the view area. Obviously, that's moderated by the design of the reticle, but there's a lot of power in these things. And a scope like this, it's hard to imagine not being able to hit almost anything you can see. And as Jeff Cooper said years and years ago, scopes help you see better. They don't help you shoot any better. And that gets us back to the inherent quality of the gun.
Yeah, that reminds me of somebody who told me I'm a pilot and I was learning how to fly at night, and somebody said, "Kid, the only difference between flying in the daytime and flying at night is that flying at night you can't see anything." Let's just go back to the red dot for a second, if you don't mind. No. Frank, because they've really revolutionized things, and I don't have anything like the understanding that you do, but it seems to me that the advantage of the red dot is that it allows you to put the dot on the target even when you're not directly on the optical axis. It allows you slightly off-axis shooting. That means you can pick up your target a lot faster. Is that more or less correct?
A crucial point, Bill, that is widely understood about this that has a second benefit for guys more your age and mine. First of all, you're absolutely right. You do not have to center the aiming cue in the tube of the optic. If the aiming cue, in this case a 2-minute of angle dot, is on your target, you can initiate. And actually the reason for that is not complicated. That aiming cue is a reflection. And no matter where it appears, if it's on the target, what that tells you is that the relationship between the source of the dot and the bore of the rifle or handgun hasn't changed. So you can go, and there are very small errors at long, long distances or very, very close distances. But the errors are amazingly small. And again, that video shows you that target that we were shooting at, there was a little breeze there. It's essentially less than 12 by 12 inches, and it was easy to hit it 5 times in a row with no magnification at all, because I just put that 2-minute dot right in the middle and pulled the trigger.
Bink, don't think. And you were talking about guys like us in our age. One of the most difficult things for me now, especially with the pistol, I have a 45 from Springfield ACP, and my vision is getting so bad that I have to make a decision: do I want to look at the front sight, or do I want to focus on the forward sight? And the nice thing about the dot is you can kind of just focus on the dot, right?
Well, furthermore, because you ever notice how when you see something in a mirror, irrespective of the distance that it is from you, it's in focus as long as your eyes can focus?
Correct.
It's the same effect. Again, the aiming cue, the dot, is a reflection in most cases. Well, I think in virtually all cases, it's a reflection. What that allows you to do is use your distance prescription. The dot appears to be projected on the target at the same, what we call visual plane. And for guys like you and me who are starting to lose that great accommodation speed that makes traditional sights work, when the aiming cue is out there on the same visual plane as the target, we can get back to work in a hurry, and it's just a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
My father, at the end of his life, he was quite an accomplished pistol shot. It was the only way he could shoot.
Yep, that aiming dot is aligned with the optics, and that means that you don't have to look at the front and the rear. You don't have to do that focus pull. You just put the dot over it and make a loud noise, and next thing you know, good things happen to bad people or bad things.
Same visual plane. That's the crucial
There you
thing.
go. Frank, it's such a pleasure talking to you. You're just such a great guy to talk with. You not only have tremendous encyclopedic knowledge, you're really just fun and interesting to talk to, and we always look forward to getting you back on the show. So thanks for joining us today, and I'm sure we'll see you back here on NRA TV real soon.
Very kind, Bill, and great to be with you.
Thank you. Well, folks, that'll do it for Thursday of this incredibly fun week I've had sitting in for Colin Noir on CN Live. He'll be back on Monday. I think I'll be here until he gets back, and just having the best possible time. I'll just close with what I mentioned at the beginning. After 8 years of really, really hunkering down, I think it's just incredible opportunity for all of us. Maybe this would be a good time for you at home just to sit back, watch the show, sit back, push away from the desk or whatever, and take a breath and realize that we're not doomed to go down this inevitable slide into ruin and erosion, that we actually do have the ability to control our own destinies and take charge of this and perhaps turn this country over to children in a better condition than we got it from our mothers and fathers. So it's a great honor to be part of that. And I will see you tomorrow. This is CN Live, NRA TV, and you all have a good day. Be careful out there, and we'll see you next time.